D-Day, 41 weeks and 5 days today. By D-Day, induction day, we're going to get my waters broken. I found them obviously at 8 o'clock, and then they said they will call me back at 8:45, asking if we can come in for 9:30. And I was like, no, can we come in for 2? She's like, no. I was like, okay, we'll get there for like 10ish. So that's the plan. Very, very excited. So excited. This is so much better than going on a road trip. Like, anyway, we're in the car. I feel really good. I'm just excited. I'm gonna listen to Surah Maryam, and I'm just gonna try and meditate in the car until we get there. So fingers crossed, everything's gonna go amazing, smooth. Baby's gonna be perfect and healthy, and can't wait. This is the room that I'm gonna be in. This is the toilet and the shower. I've got a bed there, a bed for me, check the baby, wardrobe, and we're gonna be in here and checking baby's heartbeat, and then break my waters, and just we'll be in here for as long as possible, and then we'll go into the birth room. Yay! In our own hospital room in the birth center, currently listening to the baby's heartbeat. So we've got the CTG on, baby's heartbeat and my heartbeat, and obviously I'm beeping every time the baby moves. So you just press this every time baby moves, and then they're gonna take it from there. But so far, no contractions. There's been a little bit of pressure, and I'm chill and excited and relaxed and starting to get hungry and thirsty. Nurse came in and broke my waters at 11:45. It was a little bit uncomfortable. It wasn't painful, but you could definitely feel the little stick. And then when the waters came out, obviously you can feel that as well. It wasn't painful, like I said. Had to lay down for like 5-10 minutes just to listen to baby's heartbeat. Baby's heartbeat is fine, and it is now 12:30. We're having some hospital food, macaroni cheese. I've got macaroni cheese, yep, very healthy. And then we got more cheese, yeah, jelly, what's that, bread and butter. After I had some food, I felt really like tired and lethargic, and I wanted to sleep for a bit, so I've laid down, but sleep is not coming. So, and it's been leaking a lot. So I need to get up and change my diaper, and we're gonna start the biomechanics, demobilizing, and yeah, hopefully spend the next 5-6 hours just getting this baby out. Hungry again, so I'm having a peanut butter and pistachio sandwich that I made with hot chocolate, and that's where the baby's gonna get changed. Hair is gone so frizzy, even though I washed it yesterday. After we have our drinks, we're gonna go walk around, do some lunges on the stairs, get this baby moving, get my body moving, get gravity to do its thing. It's 2:35. We're gonna go for a walk around the hospital, maybe outside. It's not that hot. It's supposed to be 30 degrees, but there's a bit of wind, so that sounds nice. And I need to make sure I drink my water. I'm gonna do some lunges and then come back in the room and do some biomechanics and deep squats. And my right quad is just, after she broke the waters, the right quad has just been hurting. It's like it's got cramps, or it just needs stretching. And I've done some lunges, it feels a bit better. Maybe I might do some more lunges. 3. Yeah, she feels really good. 8, 9, 10. Can't go that deep on this leg. 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's stretch. Look how big the baby is. She is low. Okay, grab that foot. Oh, can't even grab it. There we go. Just stretch. It's really hot in here. Glad I've got my little fan. We went for a walk to Sainsbury's. It was very hot outside and quite unbearable. Sainsbury's is lovely because obviously the AC is on. Got a couple of meal deals, and hospital has given me food. I got some bean chili, mashed potato peas with some jam custard, and some more custard creams. So time to eat again. In terms of, we've done the biomechanics actually. Did 3-4 positions actually, they were quite good. And then I've been bouncing on the ball quite a lot as well. There's regular leakage, watercolor is fine. No sign of baby. It's like 5-6 hours after breaking my waters, so yeah. Around a couple of hours ago, we looked at Deborah Betts. She's got acupuncture pressure points, and we started doing them. There was one for the neck, for the hand, for the feet, and I think ever since we started doing them, it has brought on contractions. And for the last like over half an hour, I've been having regular contractions. I've got a TENS machine on. It's on my back. There's 4 sticky points. Regular contractions. They're above 8. It's happening now. I'm gonna press the boost. And I need to record it. I was recording the contractions on an app that I've been using throughout the pregnancy. It's called Pregnancy Plus, and these are the contractions. So they were regular, they were every 2 minutes. Some of them lasted up to 2 minutes. You can see it started from 8:57 and it goes all the way throughout the night. But obviously at 12 a.m. I stopped recording them because I'm like, okay, they're regular, I don't need to record it. It was just another faff thing to do. Okay, it's almost 11 p.m. and for the last 2 hours I've been having regular contractions. They're very, very painful, and when you don't have them, you're just so happy with life and so pain-free and so carefree. She's just done an internal examination, and I'm also 8 centimeters dilated, so it feels really good. Yeah, I've got my little drug pill. It's really good. When you first use it, it feels really weird, but then just keep using it, I think. And the boost function is really good. Highly recommend it. This is the room. The candle, light. So I was in the water for an hour, and you have your own midwife. She stays in the room with you. She's on the computer. She's watching you. She's making sure you're okay, baby's okay. And in the water, she was checking baby's heartbeat, and it kept going up to 170. So the baby's heartbeat should be between 110 and 150 maximum. So what she did, she decided to consult her senior, and the decision was made to remove me from the water bath and take me to the labor room, just to find out, why is the baby, to find out why the baby is stressed, if the baby is stressed. So by this time, obviously, I didn't want to film, or I forgot to film, because obviously the priority now is the baby, is understanding, is the baby stressed, or just, why is the heart rate going to 170? So I was just in my bra at this moment. It was wet. They took me out, put towels on me, and they wheeled me to the labor ward. So this was at 12 a.m. And then during the night, obviously, you have your own midwife again, because you're in active labor. So for the next 5 hours, I had regular contractions, and they got more and more painful. The TENS machine was just not helping, and it was just kind of annoying. I was getting tired, and then we found out actually I was only 6 centimeters dilated, not 8 centimeters. Baby's heart rate was 170. So around 5 o'clock, I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't have the energy to push this baby out. I haven't slept, haven't really eaten much. I don't have energy. Decided to text my best friend Rhoda. And I called her actually at 4:35 in the morning. I was like, I don't know what to do. She was like, just get the epidural. You'll be able to get some sleep. And then hopefully you have some energy to get the baby out. So I got the epidural, even though I was like totally against it, because I've done a gym induction for somebody that had the epidural 30 years ago and it went wrong. And she's got permanent nerve damage, which obviously is a very serious side effect. But that was 30 years ago. And at this point, I was like, I don't really have an option. At this point, my husband was considering cesarean, but I wasn't considering it. I was like, I'm going to do everything possible in my power to have this baby naturally. So anyway, got the epidural. She came in. Obviously, you sit down on the bed quite far back, and because you're having contractions, she has to do it in between the contractions, or when you're having the contractions and she's doing the epidural, you can't move, because that can cause permanent nerve damage. So you basically get given a pillow to put in front of you. You lean forward, and I had my husband in front of me, and then you feel like a really sharp, it's like a sharp scratch, but it was like a small needle. And obviously you stay still. She puts it in, and then a tube comes around your back, and a tube attaches to something here, and this is how they top it up. I didn't know that. I thought it was just an injection, but they top it up every hour. So after they gave the epidural, I was laying on the bed for an hour, symmetrical, so that the epidural works both sides of the body, the right and the left leg, for an hour or two. And then after that, I got up with the support of my husband, and I was just standing on my legs, because I felt like I needed to kind of move and just feel my legs. I needed to feel, my body told me to feel my legs. I got up and the midwife was just looking at me. She was like, how do you have the strength to stand up on your legs? And apparently I was cracking jokes and I was talking about cocaine. I was like, does the epidural have cocaine in it? And my husband and the midwife were laughing. I just remember them laughing, and I remember not being in pain, and I managed to get a couple of hours sleep. So this was between 5 and 7. And I think when they checked me, and I think when you have the epidural, you're not allowed to eat or drink. I can't remember. And you're not allowed to go very far. You're not even allowed to be that mobile. But I wanted to stand up and feel my legs. My body was telling me to do that. So between 5 and 7, I got a couple of hours of sleep, and they came and checked me, and yeah, I was still 6 centimeters, which is, at this stage they expect you to be dilated 0.5 centimeter every hour. That was the thing. But the baby's heart rate still went to 170. It did drop down sometimes, but it still went to 170. They thought maybe there's an infection, baby's under stress, they don't know what's going on. So I was kind of getting high on the priority of like, okay, what's going on? So around 8 o'clock you get breakfast. So I had some breakfast, and then I think between 8 and 9 the doctors come and do their rounds, and we had doctor, anesthesiologist, gynecologist, some midwife, some other people come into the room, and they were like, look, you're only 6 centimeters dilated, baby's heart rate keeps going up, don't know if there's a risk of infection. I can't remember if they said you need to consider cesarean, or they were like, we need to, I can't really remember what they said. And then they said, I think at this point they were thinking about giving me the oxytocin drip, but then they were scared, is that gonna make the baby even more stressed? So they were just like being a bit iffy. So I said, give me an hour or give me a couple of hours. Let me try biomechanics. Let me try deep squats. Let me do everything possible in my power to dilate a little bit more. So they said, okay. So they gave me a couple of hours. So for the next couple of hours, for the next hour and a half, I slept. And I slept in kind of like a incline squat position. So at least gravity can help bring the baby down. And also by this point, the baby's head, although she was low, I think it was like that. And they want the baby's head to be like that. So that was another problem as well. So yeah, I slept for about an hour and a half. And then I got up and I did some deep squats, I think. Did some more shake the apple, the biomechanics shake the apple. Some more acupressure around the body, like the hand, the foot. I did everything possible in my power to just, bring the baby along. So they came back a couple of hours later, and I was 8 centimeters dilated, so there was progress. Baby's head was in a good position, but heart rate kept going up, and she'd pooed. She did a poo. There was a little bit of poo, meconium, in the doctor's hands, which is not a good sign. By this stage, it was reaching 24 hours from when my waters had been broken, and when it's getting to that stage, the risk of infection to the baby does increase. So that's the risk of infection is increasing because my waters have been broken for 24 hours. Baby had done a bit of a poo. Her head was, in better position. Her heart rate was 170, and they weren't sure if there was an infection, if something's going on, why the baby's under stress. So all of these factors considered, this is around 10:30 a.m. They came in, checked me again one more time. Again, I was 8 centimeters, but this time there was loads of meconium on the doctor's hands, like loads. And then she was like, I recommend a cesarean. And I was like, oh God. Like inside I was distraught. And I was like, can I get a second opinion? She got another doctor, another gynecologist to come in. I got examined. Loads of meconium. This is like serious now because the baby's head down. There's poo in the amniotic fluid. She could breathe it. She could, is it meconium aspiration? Where she breathes it goes into her lungs, and it's deadly. So this is like life and death now. And then even the second one was like, we have to do a cesarean. And I was so distraught. I did not want to do a cesarean. It was like, I did everything possible in my pregnancy to make sure that I could have a normal birth. So when the decision was made to do the cesarean, within 15 minutes we were prepped and ready to go. And I felt at this stage, I felt so helpless. I felt like the 7-year-old that came to the country for the TB treatment, and when I was in hospital for 6 months, all those, it triggered me so much. When they said cesarean, it triggered me so badly. It felt like I'd lost control because I'd been in control for 9 months, and all of a sudden now I'm not in control. It was a horrible, horrible feeling. But the good thing is everybody was so amazing. Everybody was efficient. There was a gynecologist that came with consent for cesarean. She took me through everything, the options and everything, and the risks and everything. And then husband had a quick shower. He changed into scrubs. He looked amazing. He looked so good in scrubs. And anesthesiologist came in, asked me if I've had any abdominal surgery before, and then I told him I've had the TB surgery before, asked me if I'm allergic to anything, and then somebody else came in, asked me something. Everybody was so efficient, like they were like getting in, doing what they needed to so that they can get me in. This was an emergency cesarean now, and I think within 15 minutes, when they wheeled me from the room to the theatre, obviously when you're on a bed everybody looks at you, and I felt so helpless and I was so triggered, and I just started crying on the way to the theatre. I remember going into the theatre and there's like loads of people and they're just like, my name is this and I'm gonna do this to you, and you're just like, okay. And I remember my husband was on my left and his hand was like on my face, and that was quite comforting. And the midwife was to my right and she kept holding my hand. The cesarean itself, I'm gonna probably make another video, but just to tell you, by this time I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm triggered by my childhood trauma, and so I start shaking and shivering, which apparently is normal, and I get very thirsty and I'm just like, can I have some water please, can I have some water? And I'm like crying, can I have some water? I'm like in and out of consciousness, obviously still breathing. I've got cannula in my hand, they're topping up the epidural. Before they start operating, they put like a cold spray on either side of your legs and up your body, and they ask you, can you feel that? And where do you not feel it? So they basically numb you from below the chest, from the abdomen down, so you can't feel anything at all, kind of thing. I remember, I think I felt more of the cold on my left side than my right side, so they tilt the bed basically so that the gravity helps and you feel it more. And they did that a couple of times, and then eventually the last time they did it I couldn't feel anything up until below my chest, and then that's when they start operating, and I was just waiting to feel some pain. And I didn't really feel pressure either. Some people say they feel pressure. I didn't feel pain or pressure. I was just in like, you know, I was in like a very, very triggered state, and I was just in shock, to be honest. I was in shock, and I was just waiting to hear the baby cry, and I heard the baby cry and I was like, oh my god, it's real, baby's here, she's well, she's crying, which is a good sign. And then I think they take her away for a couple of minutes, and then they bring her over, and I think they brought her to my right. I just look at her and I'm in shock. Obviously my husband's crying as well. It's just, you've had huge abdominal surgery, and obviously one of the reasons I didn't want to get cesarean is because it's a 6-month recovery, and it's major abdominal surgery, right? But anyway, the baby's out, and then after that they take you to a post room theatre. After the theatre they take you to a room which is like, they take you to a room which has got space for like 2 beds, and that's for people that are coming out of the surgery. By this time I'm on an oxytocin drip. I think that's to help lose less blood. I lost 750 milliliters of blood, which I think is maybe a little bit more than expected. I can't remember, but anyway, I'm at this point, she said, can't eat, can't drink, and anytime I try to, oh no, she said maybe I can have some water. So I tried to have some water, and I immediately sat up into a crunch and threw up, but because I couldn't feel anything, I shouldn't have done that, and I think that caused a little bit of bleeding. This is like a small tight room with another bed next to me, obviously with a curtain in the middle. Baby was to my left, husband was to my right. I'm like so drowsy. That's the picture on the thumbnail that I'm gonna put. I'm so drowsy, in shock, drowsy. I have a baby, I've had a cesarean, and it's just like, okay, what just happened? Take lots of pictures, and apparently this time I'm cracking jokes as well, and I don't know what I say, but people are laughing. Whatever I'm saying, people are laughing, so I must have been high off my face again. And the next 2 days I continue to remain in shock of what's happened, and the fact that my abdomen is never going to be the same again. But and I'm also in shock that I have a baby, and she was in my belly for 10 months and now she's out. Just shock. The whole body, the whole system is in shock. So that was labor and delivery via emergency C-section. The amount of difference from Monday, when I was in control and I was getting induced and everything was going according to plan, to Tuesday where I was not in control and, you know, God's plan had taken over, was huge. Like, I think because I was so sure that things were going to go my way, the thought of cesarean was just at the back of my head. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, but it's not going to happen. But I wasn't really mentally prepared to actually go through it. I might make a separate video on preparing for cesarean and what your body goes through the week after, because it's huge. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you've had a cesarean, I now know what you have gone through, and there's loads of us that have gone through it, and you're not alone. It's physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally challenging. Challenging is there's no word. It's just not even challenging. It pushes you, basically. And you have to stay strong. You have to get through it. You have to remember that you produced a baby, a human being, and it was totally worth it. And she's perfect and healthy, and she is just a little doll, and I'm so lucky that she chose me to be her mother. Anyway, I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about cesarean, prenatal fitness, or pregnancy, let me know in the comments, because I'm here to be transparent, share my experiences with you, so that maybe it might help someone. In the meantime, eat your cake and do your curls. I will see you in another video.